What is up, everybody? We are back with some more Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and we're here to answer that question: should you pull on the new 2nd anniversary Cloud and Sephiroth OG Limit Break banner? If you guys are new to the channel and you guys do like what you see, hit that subscribe button and follow along with what we do here. It'd be great to have you along this journey. Hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts on the banner. Do you agree with the things that I said? Do you have any disagreements? Do you feel like I overanalyzed or underanalyzed something? Just let me know down in the comments below. Another thing to note for those who are new to seeing these types of videos from me, guys, if you are that whale or you have that absolute favorite character that you have to have every single thing for, then this really isn't the video for that. You know, the main thing is, like I said, if Cloud's your favorite character, just make sure that when you're pulling, you definitely have enough to get the costume. That's always going to be the kind of that prize at the end, if you will. Same thing for Sephiroth, the OG Sephiroth. If you're wanting everything for him, same deal. Make sure you have enough to pull to get yourself to the costume, because that is definitely going to be one thing that you can't get later unless we have a special event for it. Because with weapon parts, you can boost things over time slowly, as long as you at least got one copy of the weapon. So anyway, this is not designed for that. This is designed for people who you have a limited amount of crystals, you're maybe a light spender or free to play, and you're trying to figure out how to best utilize your crystal usage in your pulls. So keeping that in mind, let's delve into this. If you've watched my earlier videos about the 2nd anniversary, I'm not impressed, guys. Not necessarily with the banner, just with the anniversary in general. In looking at this banner, I don't feel like this is an anniversary banner. Alright, so I'm not going to let my jaded view, if you will, of it not being an anniversary banner hurt my analysis of it. So I'm not going to be taking into account this is an anniversary banner. I'm going to look at it just from the perspective of it is a limit break banner. Okay? So that's one thing to note. So let's kind of delve into this. One of the first things I want to talk about, this stamp card sucks. Part of the reason being, this banner, how they designed it, sucks. 3 limit break weapons in the one banner for 2 separate characters. I mean, this is kind of harking back to when we were getting limit break after limit break after limit break banner, and everything was just limited. I mean, we were complaining about that, and it was kind of like, okay, we hear you won't do as many limit break banners. We're just going to shove them all into one. It's like, oh, that's not the right answer either. And I had talked about how I'd like to see, some banners with multiple characters back on it again, and maybe even having multiple weapons within those banners as well. Not for a limit break banner, guys. That is the wrong time to do it. You do those for your regular banners where you can wish list those items easily later. You can, still easily acquire things. This is not the type of banner where you do that. And again, that puts a knock against the banner, but it's not how I'm going to be analyzing the weapons. That's just one of those things that hurts this banner as a whole. Alright, so we're going to kind of look at this just one character at a time. I'm going to start with Cloud because there's less for him, and then I'm going to move into Sephiroth because not only do we have Sephiroth with 2 limit break weapons, we also have his regular gear that's been added in as well, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Okay, Cloud. Let's talk about the overall look of it. It's the Advent Children gear. My problem? Why is he stepping forward and looking up? That's his pose. Everybody else had their pose with their weapon and all that kind of stuff. This kind of looks like they just took a 3D render out of the movie and just slapped it in here. I just don't know why he's looking up. It's kind of weird. But again, overall, the look of the outfit is great, though. You got the different designs. I actually sat down and watched Advent Children again during the maintenance period, and yeah, it looks just like it did in the movie. You got all the different sword slots in the back here. You got him holding the fusion sword here, which is like 5 million swords in one. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's the Advent gear, or Advent Children gear. It looks really good. I mean, I just don't understand why they posed him the way they did. So let's talk about the stats for it. Adds reprieve. Solid stat. Fine with that. I don't know why we changed the emblem for this thing, other than it's special, but it's not, because we've had this before. A Cloudy Wolf is the Omni Elemental Arcanum, at 5% less, because the Arcanums were 35%, this is 30%, and it has the HP plus 15%, so you got survivability, and you've got an all elemental boost, which I think we can go to the wish list here and look at Cloud. I don't know if we can see. I think the only element he's missing is Earth. I think he actually has everything else except for Earth. I'm like 90% sure on that. Yeah, the only weapon he's missing is Earth. So, I mean, this is definitely a beneficial armor in that sense, because he can take advantage of it from many different viewpoints, especially if you're a newer player and you have not been around for the earlier events where you could have gotten those Arcanum and Mastery outfits. This is a solid outfit for Cloud, and it does look good too. This is something easily you could slap as a, the costume, or the one that you see, the visual one, over the actual costume itself that you're wearing, and just rock this. I mean, it looks great. But yeah, reprieve, solid, lets you escape death, so you can, instead of building yourself a little bit more defensively, you can build yourself a little bit more offensively, because if you die, you're going to come back to life that first time. So it does allow you to kind of pump a little bit more power into things. The Fusion Sword. Alright, so at its base 5-star, you're going to be getting 600% physical non-elemental damage to a single enemy, crit rate 10%, physical weapon boost of your C and UC abilities by 25%, same thing with magic. That's going to last for 30 seconds, at an extension of 10 seconds, and it's going to be boosting the damage plus 25%, so you're going to be doing an extra 25% damage with your physical or magic command and ultimate command abilities. So whatever your offhand or main hand weapon is, or again your ultimate weapon, whatever abilities those have, you're going to be doing 25% extra damage over 30 seconds. So again, you cast this once and you're going to be railing that weapon ability over and over and over. And it's also going to give you exploit weakness when your HP is 50% or more for 30 seconds at a 25%. So you're getting an extra 25%. So really you're kind of looking, again, if you're using an elemental weapon, you're kind of doing like 50% extra damage. For just base 5-star, that's not bad. Like that's big. That's huge. So, I'm kind of looking at that, like if you were to combine that, like if you pulled the Dragon Quest tacked lightning weapon for Cloud, if you were to like main hand that thing and offhand this, you're giving yourself exploit weakness. You then turn around and cast that thing, which casts Enfeeble. You've got your other person out there throwing out the resist downs. Dude, I mean, you could just freaking rock something with this. Now, this does only affect himself. That is to note. He's not giving this to all the allies. Only he is benefiting from this weapon boost and exploit weakness. But still, your sport character, I mean, he's going to be filling in the DPS of basically 2 characters at that point, or basically a character and a half. Yeah. Well, plus taking into account the Enfeeble. I mean, getting the extra tier on any, attack down, magic attack down, defense downs, elemental downs, like, this could really just annihilate things. Our ability-wise, we get boost attack to all allies, boost ability potency, so, I get why it's a boost attack, because even though it is doing physical damage up here, you can use it for both physical and magic weapons with that weapon boost. And then it offers a P attack, M attack boost, and sigil boost, again, all at level 1, and that drives me insane. We were teased with that level 2 sigil boost with Lucia and her limit break banner, and we haven't seen it since. I was positive when we saw that, because it's something I've been asking for since like the 1st or the 1.5 anniversary of seeing like a boost 2. Now I thought it was going to be in the realm of like we would be able to upgrade it, like you get your weapon to OB10, and then you can start, you know, doing some fancy things over here. You know, it requires certain materials and whatnot. And then we got that Lucia one where it came natively. I was like, okay, maybe they're just going to start, it's going to be our power creep then. It's going to be seeing these boost. Nope. Still not seeing them. Not that this isn't a huge power creep in its own. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to knock this. And this is, again, this is just at base 5-star. You're getting an extra 50% damage just off this weapon alone. I mean, that's huge. Now, alright. That base 5-star only goes up to level 20? Am I seeing that right? This would only go to level 20 if it's at a 5-star. Then it goes up to 130 when you hit OB1. Okay, that might be a reason to definitely, if you're going to pull for this, go for OB1 then. Because that only goes to level 20, you're not going to get much stat-wise here. Alright, at level 130 OB1, you're now doing 720%, so it's jumped up 120% damage. The boost has gone, the percentages have stayed the same, but it's gone to 40 seconds. Same with the exploit weakness, this has now gone to 40 seconds. So again, OB1, pretty solid, getting that extra 10 seconds can make a huge difference. Boost attack to all allies is now at 32 points. I would be offhanding this, because again, this is boosting your weapons ability damage. So for me, I'm going to look at these stats as if I'm offhanding, because I really want the main stats of that the elemental weapon in my hand, which is probably going to have like a boost attack or boost im attack, and then the boost elemental potency. I want that to get the full stats and not be halved. So this I would be offhanding. So let's assume we're going to get half. So 16 points is going to put me at 7%. I mean, if you were main-handing it, you're at 9% for both magical and physical attack to all allies. Boost ability potency is at 18 points. Again, if you're main-handing, your physical and ability damages are getting plus 15%, but again, I'm going to be off-handing, so 8%. Alright, OB6. Wow. That's a big jump. Okay, so we get a 10% jump at OB6 here. You're going to 35% now at 50 seconds, so you still get a 10-second jump in the time. We're going to 1080% here on physical damage, but like I said, you're now getting an extra 35%. Same thing with the exploit weakness, so you're now dealing an extra 70% damage. So at OB6, I mean, he is almost 2 characters. Boost attack all odds is at 40, so you're at that 11% if you're main handing, but if you're me, you're at 7% still. That did not change. Boost ability potency 30 points. So again, main handing 22% to both, off handing 15%. We're at 602 P attack, 567 M attack. I don't hate that even though this is a physical weapon, these are close because, again, this does have both physical and magic capabilities. And if you do get it up to OB10, numbers aren't high, but again, they're not too far off from each other either, so we'll take that. We are now up to a 40% boost for a full minute on all of them, so now again you're getting that extra 80% damage and you're at 1340 physical non-elemental damage. Boost attack has gone to 46, so again, main handing, you are now giving 13% physical and magic attack percentage to your allies, a boost. Off handing 23, you are still stuck at that 7%. Boost ability potency 42 points, so 30% to your physical and magic ability damage. Offhanding is going to put you at 21. You're at 15%. Solid weapon. I think definitely OB6 is where you want to get at with this thing, because that's where you're going to see the biggest jump. If you're lucky enough to get OB10 and you got the crystals to do it, it's not a terrible spot to have it either. But OB6 is definitely where I would be striving for with this weapon if I was going to pull on it. Again, haven't made that decision yet. But even, I mean, OB1 is still viable. 25%, 40 seconds. I mean, 40 seconds lasts longer than you think, especially if you got a boost to your buff debuff extensions. But yeah, OB1's not a terrible place to have this. OB6 is definitely a really solid spot as usual. And then OB10, like, I mean, if you got the crystals to make it or you get super lucky, OB10 is really nice as well. It's not one of those where I'm like, you can definitely just get by with OB6. You don't have to get OB10. OB10's nowhere close to needed. I mean, it's not needed, but it's usually just the boost here. I mean, we're getting a solid boost down here too, so OB6 definitely the sweet spot, but OB1 is really good. Alright, that's Cloud. Before we get into Sephiroth's stuff here, because we can actually only see one of his weapons, I want to look at his weapons that are not the limited weapons here, that are just his standard weapons. He has 3. We have the Kotetsu. No, I'm just going to look at these for the purpose of just OB10, just so we can see what they're eventually going to do, because these are in theory going to be wish listable on anything from here on out. So we have 540% physical non-elemental damage to all enemies. P attack is decreased high to high to all enemies. M attack is decreased high to all enemies. So this is the Kuja Blade. The Kuja Spirit Blade that we got back in the Final Fantasy IX crossover. But for the OG adult Sephiroth, offers HP 46, so 70% to your HP. Boost ability potency 42. So again, you're not gonna be you're gonna have this probably in an offhand. So 21 is gonna get you 15%, and again 23 would be 30%. P attack 1, triangle sigil 1. Okay. So that's the Kotetsu. Let's take a look at the Asafune. This is his water elemental weapon. Again, I'm just going to look at it from the perspective of OB6, or OB10, sorry. 1340, geez, 1340 magic water damage to a single enemy. Magic attack is increased mid to high to all allies. Boost M attack of 46, magic ability potency of 42. This one you would definitely main hand. So you're getting 40% to your magic attack. You're only 9 points away from having full magic attack, which you could probably just leave, honestly, because anything else you add with that boost magic attack is going to be wasted points. And then 42 here is going to get you the 60%. You could easily add on another magic ability potency to get you that 80%. Magic attack boost 1, and triangle sigil 1. Okay, magic attack here. That lasts for 25 seconds. It's not bad. Not bad. And then we had the Masamune. It's another non-elemental weapon. Does 800% physical non-elemental damage to a single enemy. Deals 60,000 additional non-elemental physical potency damage. E-def is decreased high to a single enemy, and M-def is decreased high to a single enemy. So this is kind of like the Bahamut Greatsword, only to a single enemy instead of across all enemies. Boost attack is 62. I would be offhanding this thing probably if I was using it. I mean, you could main hand it and fully max this out, but I'd be sitting at the 31, so 10%. Boost ability potency 42, so you're right here at 30%, but I would be stuck at 15. P attack 1, triangle 1. I also am going to go ahead and look at the fire weapon, because you cannot look at the where you can view the costume. So we're going to go ahead and look at this one here. Now, because this one is limited, I am going to go ahead and look at it from base 5-star to OB1 2, or OB1 6 and 10. Yeah, this is only level 22. Did they make a change where base 5-star is now going to be level 20 only? Because hell, even the 4-stars go higher than that. I think they can get up to 70 or 80. Alright, anyway. Deal 600% magic fire damage to a single enemy. Applies a fire damage bonus when using fire abilities. Deal bonus damage equal to 20% of the damage dealt to all allies. So all allies are going to get this buff. When they attack with a fire ability, it's going to do 20% extra damage for 15 seconds. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. I mean, for a fire team, yeah. Especially if I think about it from the perspective of, let's say I got him mixed with Cloud using the fusion sword, with his celebratory gear from the from the New Year's event, and you know I've got Red 13 healing and casting my fire resist down. Lots of damage could be being dealt there. M attack boost 1, and triangle 1. Produces M attack to all allies and fire potency. Alright, OB1, 720%, applies again 20%, that has not changed, we've gone to 20 seconds. Boost M attack to all allies is now at 32. I would be main-handing this thing probably, so let's look at it from that perspective. So 18% extra magic attack to all allies. Oh, that's right, it is magic attack, so I probably wouldn't be using Cloud there, I guess. I mean, you could. He does have some magic fire weapons, but he's not spec towards that. So that would be kind of a waste on him with that, but it could still do a ton of damage, don't get me wrong. But anyway, 18% there, fire potency is at 18, so plus 25% to your fire damage. Alright, OB6, we are now at 1080. Getting an extra 25% bonus damage when using fire abilities. M attack to all has gone up to 40, so now we're at 22% boost to all allies M attack. And fire potency is at 30, so we're sitting at 40%. Decent M attack over here, 640. Now we're at 698. We're now doing 1,340. That is a ton. Fire damage to a single enemy. You're up to 30% bonus damage when using fire abilities to all allies for 25 seconds. Okay, boost attack, magic attack to all allies is at 46, so each ally is getting 25% extra magic attack. And fire potency is at 42, so 55% extra fire ability damage. Again, this is solid. I think, again, this is going to be one. OB1 is good. OB6 is solid. OB10 is nice. So this is one, if you can get it to OB6, cool, but even OB1 is not a terrible spot to have this thing. Hell, even OB1 is not that bad, or even just base 5-star, assuming 20 is not the level cap, is not terrible either. I mean, 20%, I mean, you're going to be casting this thing over and over in theory, because this is your main damage weapon, so you're going to be constantly doing the extension anyways. If it falls off in the middle of it, you're still going to rebuff it. So yeah, even a 5-star is not terrible. I mean, the stats are going to be awful for your R ability and your R abilities and your stats over here, but it's still not terrible in the realm of the damage you're doing, and then the effects you're giving to your other allies. Okay, so now let's go back to the Tryon and let's look at Sephiroth's, I guess, main featured weapon and his armor. Starting with the armor here, Corruptor of the Planet. Let's take a look at it. I mean, again, looks like Sephiroth and Advent children. Got the long flowing hair, piercing eyes. Got this little belt clip here. Awesome designs in the leather, like all the little folds and creases in the leather. I like it. Sephiroth's looking off to the left here. Sword itself looks awesome in his hands. Looks really, really good. Alright. So, now let's go back to looking at this. Now, he does not get reprieve here like Cloud does. That's because adult Sephiroth, I'm going to call him adult Sephiroth rather than original or OG Sephiroth, because in my opinion, the first Sephiroth we got in the game is OG Sephiroth or original Sephiroth. You know, young Sephiroth, old Sephiroth. That's how I'm gonna be referring to them at this, from probably this point on. So adult Sephiroth here natively comes with a reprieve. Like, it is built into his character. He does not need an armor to do that, gear to do that. He automatically comes with reprieve. So he basically has a bonus R ability that nobody else has. natively. So we don't need to worry about that. So boost attack to all allies, or was it 15 points? So he's given 7% physical magic attack to all allies, and then Wing of the Corruptor is an omni-elemental Arcanum with HP plus 15%, even though he only has access to two elemental abilities right now, fire and water. As you saw, he has 3 regular weapons and then these 2 limit break weapons. That's it. When you look at all these other characters that released, I mean, they released with like 10 weapons each, 12 weapons each. Sephiroth, adult Sephiroth, is at this point designed to be a power creep character. He's going to be one that we're going to be getting stuff very rarely for him, probably around like anniversaries, half anniversaries, things like that. We'll probably see like another weapon or 2 for him. But he is definitely going to be not somebody who's going to be getting a lot of love all the time. At least that's how I'm looking at it at this point, because I mean his stuff is pretty overpowered. Which again fits his legendary hero status. I mean, he has these godlike powers. It makes sense. But I would not be expecting to see a lot of things for him in different banners as we go. Like I said, I would expect maybe quarterly or or at the half year and year marks to see another weapon for him. Alright, and then his main featured weapon here is the Kikuichi Monji. Hope I said that right. Okay, Shadow Disaster. Deals 600% magic non-elemental damage to all enemies. That's big for just a 5-star weapon. Applies physical damage bonus when using physical abilities. Deal bonus damage equal to 20% of the damage dealt. So I think we saw this in the release video, like there were numbers appearing underneath the damage numbers, like it was a plus number. I think that's what this was. That's going to go to all allies for 30 seconds. 20% for 30 seconds. And same with the magic. Holy crap. And he gets haste for 20 seconds. Now that's just the first use only, but the rest of them, that's every cast. Ooh, 5-star. This thing is tough. And oh my gosh, again, you mix that with something like Cloud's Fusion Sword, like, dude, Cloud could be so busted. Ugh. It has a boost attack to all allies, boost ability potency, M attack 1, and triangle 1. Alright, so what happens when you go Obi-Wan? 720% magic non-elemental damage to all enemies. We're at 20% for 40 seconds, so we've gone up 10 seconds each here. The haste is still lasting for 20 seconds. Boost attack to all allies. I would be offhanding this thing. I don't like having non-elementals in the main hand, because like I said, typically your elemental weapons, I mean, that's typically what you're using. You're going to want as much of the R ability stats as you can get, and they're getting half when you put them in the offhand. So this would be going into the offhand for sure. So I'm going to look at it from that perspective. So you're going to be getting 16 points here. So 7% to all allies physical and magic attack. On top of the fact you're already giving some stuff from your... You're already getting 15 from your gear if you got it. So if you did that, you're now at 31, so each one's getting 9%. And boost ability potency is at 18, so 9. 8% to your physical and magic ability damage. OB6, 1080. Now doing 25% extra damage for 50 seconds. Haste is now to 25 seconds. So that one did jump. Boost attack is at 40, so 27% still, but again, if you were to add that 15 to it, you're now at 35, so now you're technically at 11%. Boost ability potency, 30 points, so 15 is 15% to your physical and magic ability attacks. Alright, what happens when you get OB10? 30% for 60 seconds, and then 30 seconds for your haste. 1340 magic damage. 46 here, so 23, you're at 7% still, but it'd be what? So 23, 38. So yeah, you're still sitting at the 11%. And then ability potency's at 26 or 21, so 15% still. Again, this is one where base 5 stars decent, 1 star is good, 6 star is great, because you're getting, that's where you get your first jump in percentage damage plus the time, and then you get another one here at OB10, but you know, is it worth sinking the crystals into to get it to OB10? I don't know. OB6 is definitely another solid one for this, but like I said, even OB1 or base 5 star seem to be very, very viable. And honestly, that's true for all of these weapons. For all 3 of the featured weapons here. They are all very viable at base 5 star. They're good at OB1, they're awesome at OB6, and I mean, if you can push it to OB10, of course, they're even better. So now the question becomes, do you pull on this banner? So I go back to the fact the stamp card sucks. You get 2 guaranteed weapons on the first card. You got 3 on the second. Yes, there is a guaranteed 5 star or higher. And then you get a third card where you get 3 more guaranteed weapons, and then you're in the EX. So if you pull the end of the third card, you're guaranteed 3, 6, 8 weapons. Let's assume you are super duper unlucky and you get 0 luck pulls. Like, you get nothing, you get none of these weapons, whether we're talking the fire weapon, the non-elemental weapons, you get none of those naturally in any of your pulls. You just get the guaranteed ones. You could get each one to OB1, and then you would have 2 extra left over where you could get 2 to OB2 or 1 of them to OB3. Which, yes, OB1 is, like I said, a pretty good spot to be in, but that's going all the way to the third card. This stamp card is terrible for 3 limit break weapons. Did it need to be as good as what the high school one was, where literally every other one was a pull? No, but I think it should have been 4 on the first card, and then like 4 or 5 on the second card, and then like 6 on that third card. If you take yourself to that third card, that should have been the every other one. And maybe even a 4th page of 6. Let your whales wail at that point, because even as a whale, I mean, that's all you're guaranteed are the 8. You're just guaranteed the 8, because after that, there's nothing other than just 5 star or higher guaranteed. So I think the stamp card's terrible. Absolute trash. So I need to take that into account when we're talking about should you pull. I think it's worth getting at least 1 copy of these weapons, guys. Like I said, they are viable at 5 star. If you can get them to OB1, I think it's viable as well. Should you sink all of your crystals into this to get it there? No. You know, I'm trying to think, you know, which armor is more important to get first if you're really, really limited on crystals. If you're someone who's been around, you've already got stuff for Cloud in theory. You know, I've got most of his arcanums. I've got, you know, I didn't get his water. I think his water was the only one I'm missing. So for me, I would want Sephiroth's first, just because it gives something I don't already have. I would put that in the first slot. Now, if you're brand new, you know, Cloud is going to see more, in theory, more things than Sephiroth is going to. Cloud has more weapons that can be wishlisted. They're going to help elementally. So if you're new, I would definitely go for Cloud's gear before I would go for Sephiroth's. I mean, Sephiroth's going to help you clear some of that early content first, but I think once you really start getting into later things, you're going to rather have had Cloud instead. Wish list wise here, again, if I I think I would leave it as it is right here with these. And then hope I get the fire weapon. Or, for example, let's say I pulled this weapon along with clouds in the first one. I'm changing this one to the fire weapon. I want to make sure I have at least one copy of each by the end of the first page. Going into the second page, if I was unlucky and was not able to get that copy, I would pull to that second stamp, just to ensure that I have one copy of each weapon. Yeah, I think it's viable. I think it's a good idea to have at least one copy of each of these weapons. Like I said, you can always throw weapon parts to these things later. If you're super lucky and you can get OB6, sweet. But OB1 would be a really good spot if you can get there. Obviously, I mean, that means, you know, even pulling through OB or through the second or the 8th stamp, which at that point you almost might as well go ahead and push to the into the second stamp card to get the gear. But yeah, in theory, we still have 2 or 3 more banners that are going to be coming. We're going to see Tifa, and in theory, we're going to see Yuffie. Those are the other weapons that we saw on the Japanese X/Twitter page. So I wouldn't dump all my crystals. And you could even wait until we see the other banners. I wouldn't say it's something you have to pull right this second, but I do think it's something that, in theory, I would like to get at least one copy of. I will probably be pulling on this to get the 1 copies, and depending on how my luck goes, we'll go from there. Now, one thing I did not touch on, and because, again, this should not be the reason you pull on the banner, is Cloud's ultimate weapon. So I'm leaving that purposely for separate. I didn't forget about it. I purposely have left it to the end because that should not be a deciding factor on whether you pull on a banner or not. We do have Sephiroth shown here. It is something that you can pull, but it does not have the increased rate. So let's go ahead and look at it real quick. So Heaven's Cloud goes up to 130 here. So I think that is just a bug here. We're showing 20 at base 5-star because you can't go beyond the 6 stars here, and it just shows it as level 1 out of 20. I think it should be 130. So I think it's a bug with what it was showing earlier with the 5 stars. But it deals 2000% physical magic non-elemental damage to a single enemy, gives yourself haste. So again, you could get hasted twice between this and the other weapon of his. Also gives yourself exploit weakness at 40% for 60 seconds. Jeez. Takes 50 seconds to charge, or 15 seconds to charge on the initial use, 50 seconds to charge after that. You get 3 uses out of it. Wow. This is actually a pretty decent ultimate weapon. Boost ability potency of 22, so 15%. And then mass interruption, all allies. So when you go into that sigil phase and you break the sigil, all allies are going to be getting their physical and magic abilities boosted by 30% for 40 seconds. Oof, you could, with some of those other abilities, that bonus ability, the bonus damage, and the other thing, like, you could be just destroying things in sigil phases. Well, when you break it, that could be insane. So that's Sephiroth. Like I said, not guaranteed, though. And then we have Clouds. There's some question as to why this is not the Ultima weapon and why it's the Ragnarok, which is like his 2nd or 3rd most powerful weapon in the OG game. And, what best we can figure out, or some people I've talked to about this, is we haven't seen the ultimate weapon in the remake version yet. And they're probably waiting to show its design until we get part 3. So that's why we got Ragnarok. That would be my guess. Maybe when we get the 2.0s, it'll be Ultimate Weapon. Like I said, I'm assuming we're eventually going to get Ultimate Weapon 2.0. It's going to have to eventually happen. So anyway. What does this thing do? 2,000 physical non-elemental damage to a single enemy. Applies amp physical abilities, and magic abilities at 40%. Oof. For 60 seconds. My God. You pop all this stuff right, especially with that fusion sword, you could just be eating through things. And plus it grants 3 ATB gauge to all allies. It does take 20 seconds on initial charge, 60 seconds after that. You get 2 uses. Boost ability potency at 22. So 15%, and attack boost all allies at 25. So P attack and M attack are increased when the battle begins. Oh, so you're gonna get high P attack and M attack at the very beginning of the battle for 40 seconds. Wow. Well, that's kind of double-edged, and why I say that is because while yeah, you are getting that extra bonus damage at the beginning, keep in mind you don't get your full potential damage until your command gauge is full. Now, it's not going to take 40 seconds for it to fill, so eventually it's going to meet up, but that first little bit of time, you're actually losing some potential damage. So I like it, but at the same time, it's not as good as it could potentially be because of that. But both ultimate weapons are good. They're not weak ultimate weapons. I felt like some of the ones we've got in the past have been slightly weak. Those I don't feel are weak. Again, they should not be the reason you pull on the banner though, so those are if you can get them, sweet. If you don't, hopefully you can pity them. Because they are really, really good. But like I said, those should not be your driving factor into, why you should be pulling on a specific banner. Sephiroth should be coming with the next banner drop. His ultimate weapon will be featured, which sucks because that means Cloud's only featured on one banner. That then makes me wonder if we're only going to be seeing 2 banners, and Yuffie and Tifa will be featured on the next one. Because why only feature Cloud's ultimate weapon on one banner and then Sephiroth's on 2 or 3 potentially? So I'm willing to bet that the next banner is going to be a combined limit break banner with Yuffie and Tifa, and we'll see Sephiroth's ultimate weapon there featured. That kind of sucks. I really wish they would have just split these up. Cloud week 1 and like Tifa week 2 with Cloud's ultimate weapon featured, and then Sephiroth and Yuffie as week 3 and week 4 respectively. That's how that should be done. And like I said, unless they got some other things planned for week 3 and week 4, that's about the only way I can see that's going to make that's going to be kind of seem worthwhile. I mean, I guess they could go back and make Cloud's ultimate weapon featured in the banner 3 and then Sephiroth's for banner 4, but it just seems super weird. Or I guess 2 and 3, sorry. But anyway, that's my thoughts there. I know this has been a long video. I'm going to try to timestamp some things at the bottom, guys, so you can kind of see where different things are at. But overall, do I think this banner's worth pulling on? Yeah, up to at least OB1. Again, if you're super lucky, you can get to OB6 and not blow all your crystals. Good, because you're going to want to save some for the Tifa Yuffie banner, especially if we're seeing this kind of power creep. So yeah, we're going to call it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, if you are new to the channel and you do like what you see, hit that subscribe button and follow along with what we do here. Hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts on my analysis of the banner. Whether you agree or disagree, I don't care. Leave that comment down below. It starts that conversation, and it boosts the algorithm, allows other people to see the video that might not have actually gotten the video on the radar. So, all right, we're gonna call it there. We will see you guys in the next one.